Welcome back to the show, everybody. It is July 4th, 2021. If you're in the United States and celebrate Independence Day, wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a very safe, happy holiday with all your friends and family. And if not, I just hope you have a wonderful day. So here we go. We're going to get into this. We're going to talk about more ransomware attacks. Cynthia Loomis is calling for Bitcoin miners to come to the U.S., and we're also going to talk about a Bitcoiner is now talking about a $30 XRP. But when? I'm ready, and I know you are too. Let's roll that beautiful intro and try to find out. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter and Facebook. On Facebook, you can find us at Digital Perspectives News, no spaces. So make sure you give us a follow in both places. Right now, we're looking at $1.468 trillion in the cryptocurrency market cap collectively. Now we're up just a little bit, and so is the market. There's no surprise there. Keep an eye on these things. We have been hovering, and I want to show this right now to go ahead and show we are at 69 cents, ladies and gentlemen. We're headed north, right? Remember that 66 cents area is a very crucial resistance that we have tested several times, and we have not stayed above it. We've always pulled back below it. But we are sitting here at 69 cents above that line. We are ranging on the bottom end at that 66 cents mark and ranging above at 69.95. So in my understanding of the TA guys and girls that tell us what to look out for, this is a good situation. If we can stay above that 66 mark, we may push to the higher 70 cent range and maybe even touch 80 cents. We'll see. But if it doesn't hold, we need to look for the support lines that it would roll over to. 55 and 45 cents have been cited for those spots. So let's take a look at the news this morning. Clinton Donnelly is in the news. I'm not going to play you this clip, but I will tell you he's got your back no matter where you're located. He currently has American clients in 62 countries. How about that one? Make sure you check out the link in the description for Clinton. He is the foremost authority on crypto taxes. I have looked and looked and looked, and I'm telling you, this guy has got it together. So make sure you reach out to him. Link in the description and comment box. Here we go. The news this morning is Michael Val 5 links. Senator Loomis tweeted on July 3rd yesterday, if you're in the Bitcoin mining space, please reach out. We want you in Wyoming. You know, I think this has been a part of a broader effort. If you remember, even Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, who was into Bitcoin, changed his position and said he's moving and getting out of what he called blood coin, which is Bitcoin mined from China or elsewhere, and said that he wants to bring mining with renewable energy and sustainable sources back to the United States. So it seems like there is a larger movement here to be able to bring Bitcoin mining to the United States. Remember, just a couple of weeks ago, we also reported on, what was it, over 6,000 pounds, right? Over 6,000 pounds or over 3 tons worth of Bitcoin mining gear was being sent from China to Maryland, in fact. So it's something to keep an eye on. I do believe that moving towards renewable, sustainable energy is a positive for Bitcoin, but we still need to find out how regulators are going to deal with proof of work tokens such as Bitcoin. We'll find out. Let's take a look at this because this is getting exciting. It should be any day now. It says Flare unveils the plan to send 100 billion Spark tokens to XRP holders in a massive airdrop, but it is the staggered airdrop that they originally proposed. So it will be 15% on the initial airdrop, 3% thereafter. We still don't have the clarity of how taxes will be affected and what the implications would be. And just as a scenario, because my God, I mean, this has been something, but a lot of us were concerned out here that if you received a 15% drop and Flare goes, I'm just going to grab arbitrary numbers. It goes to $10. right? And then your 3% drops you receive after that, people are selling that to pay for tax implications, which could drive the price down, let's say to $4, for an example. And then you still have to pay tax implications on $15 or $10. So if you're paying on $10 and the price of the coin drops to $4, now you're looking at liquidating even more tokens, maybe tokens you don't have in the Flare because you haven't received them all. But then maybe you're also looking at going at other bags you may have, like XRP bags, to sell that, to liquidate, to get that tax obligation met. That is the concern. Will that happen? I don't know. I just know that as an investor, that is one of my concerns to that situation. Now, I hope that's not an issue. I hope it becomes a non-issue because I am excited about Flare and what they're doing. So I think some of this has been really twisted up by people who refuse to have a conversation in the very early days of this, and really just understanding that it's the difference of where you sit in this equation. You know, I'm not a developer. I'm an investor. Right? So I have to be concerned, just like a developer has to be concerned if the code is right and if there's any flaws in it that doesn't allow it to work properly. I have to think about, well, whether I'm going to receive this thing, and if I do, what are the implications for me as an investor on all of my portfolio, not just the asset itself. So still very excited about it. At the worst case scenario, if I do run into that situation, I guess you could, each time you the 15% will be at zero value, I understand. So anything thereafter may be a situation where you find yourself selling back into it, just as soon as you receive it. We'll see, but hopefully that's not the case. All right, so moving on here. The narrative builds, and it certainly continues, ladies and gentlemen. More ransomware attacks. Remember, we had market manipulation cited by the GameStop deal, for which they blamed the retail investor, for which was BS. Because why? I'll tell you why. It was BS because Robinhood is where all of the Wall Street Bets kids were going to move the market that they said they were going to move of GameStop, right? And that's fine. But the reality is Robinhood was selling the data of the retail investor, Wall Street Bets, to the biggest players of the world, Melvin Capital, JP Morgan, and all of those. Which, in other words, what that means is that the largest investors of the world get to see both sides of the trades because they bought your data. And Robinhood's biggest clients, they're not you and me. They're big companies like JP Morgan and Melvin Capital and companies like that. So they understood what was happening and what the Wall Street Bets were doing. So it's just as simple as, well, if that's what they want to do, sell that position, take this position and go long, and we'll just make money either way because we know where the data coming in is coming from. So that's how to really, I believe, understand that situation clearly. So with that, then we moved on to the oil pipeline and the cyber attack on oil in the U.S. Then we had the largest meat producer attack, cyber attack, right? All of this pointing to antiquated market infrastructure. Now, just like a government every 50 or 60 years or whatever comes out and redoes the schools, roads, and bridges projects, right? The infrastructure of a country. Right? Well, now I believe we have to factor in the market infrastructure of the markets, the oil and the food. Think about it. Your markets, oil, and food were attacked. And they were attacked very simply. And no one has been caught for it, even though they got the Bitcoin back from the oil attack. Now look here, a ransomware attack on international IT firm Kaseya, forgive me if I said it wrong, appears to have infected hundreds of smaller-sized businesses that rely on the company's product, including many based in the U.S. Another attack, showing us what? Whether it's the IT company, the oil pipeline, or the meat industry, or whether we're talking about the markets people trade in every day. The market infrastructure is antiquated and extremely vulnerable. I think this is part of the catalyst that will push Congress to give us legislation that will allow us to move forward and not stifle innovation. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has announced that his exchange platform will be getting an office in India Well, I think that settles the argument in India. It's been like a bad tennis match over there. We are having crypto, it's banned. We're having crypto, it's banned, right? Or more specifically, a high quality tech hub. So this is exciting to me because I think ultimately it tells us that we're going to see India be a part of this digital revolution. So looking right here is another reminder. Brian Armstrong back in May had met with government officials and federal agencies. Brian Armstrong strongly argues that China's central bank digital currency will pose a threat to the United States. Armstrong sees the CBDCs as a move that will disrupt the United States reserve currency in the long run. So here is the age-old question, but we know that banks are going to release a digital dollar. That is not a guess. That is not a guess. And I think they need to get it done sooner rather than later so they can remain powerful, in control, and relevant. And sometimes it is just that simple. Bank of International Settlement says wealthy and highly educated investors are buying Ethereum and XRP. Well, this doesn't surprise me, right? The only thing I could say is, well, the ETH, bit of a stretch. And I only say that because I love the network of Ethereum. I just don't like the transaction fees. And I'm hoping for Ethereum network and honestly, anyone holding it, that they can resolve those issues when they fully move over to proof of stake. I really do hope they resolve those because I know that there is an enormous amount of companies out here that have built projects on top of the Ethereum network and ERC20 tokens. So hopefully that does get resolved, and maybe Flare is able to work in a complementary fashion to allow people to use the ETH network at a much lower rate too by being able to trade across it or through it. So we'll see how that does. The Flare launch should be imminent. I know it's July 4th today. I know Flare was named after Martha Costins, who invented the naval flare, I believe it was. So, I mean, wouldn't today be a perfect day to launch Flare? I mean, I don't know if it's ready, but it would just be timely as I all get out here. So, okay, so now let's moving on here. This is a reminder of just how big what Ripple is doing to me. Ripple registered its XRP-powered ODL on-demand liquidity with the United Arab Emirates regulator to provide payments and financial services in the country. Come on in. I mean, this is what they're doing. And doesn't this point to what we've talked about? They registered its XRP-powered on-demand liquidity with the UAE's regulator. Isn't this about a payment structure? Isn't this about market infrastructure like I just talked to you about? Looks to me like Ripple and the regulator in the UAE understand that they have this new payment protocol network that they could use, which turns out to be a decentralized ledger, which is the XRP ledger. And it's much safer and less vulnerable to attacks. Now, here is a clip from the one and only BitBoy right here at the bottom here, and you're about to hear him lay it down. He's going to tell you what he thinks for an XRP price prediction just as soon as this lawsuit is settled, summary judgment, or finished in any way, shape, or form. And it's pretty damn exciting. And I have to give a shout out to BitBoy because I got to meet him and get a picture with him in the Bitcoin Miami conference, and he was fantastic. So shout out to you, BitBoy, and let's roll this beautiful footage right here and listen to him lay down what's going on and what he makes of it. Here you go.
There's big money behind this, and I'm being told that the adoption of the XRP token to be money transferring for banks is around the corner after this is over. And that's not from the XRP army. I want to point that out because everybody would say, yeah, people have been saying that for years, right? They say it. These sources that are coming to me from different places across the world that are high-level connected individuals, these are not XRP army people. This is not Bearable Bear or, Bullable Bear, whatever his name is, saying
He taking a shot at one of our own. We'll just keep moving on that.
People in high positions that are giving me this information.
God, there you go. You gotta love him.
So XRP. Oh,
you want to go?
Well, I was just going to ask. XRP right now sitting at, I haven't checked, 60 cents or is it 40 cents? Something.
I think it's maybe 65 cents today, somewhere around there.
65 cents. Give us the bull case. by the end of the year, obviously nobody can tell the future, but what is the bull case for XRP if everything goes their way?
Yeah. Bull case for XRP would basically be it's 64 cents today, by the way, just looked it up. If by October, before October, okay, this needs to actually be sometime in September, they come to an agreement with the SEC, they get the slap on the wrist, they pay the fine, but the case is done. It's kind of like with Tether, right? We had the Tether FUD forever, and then they settled the case, and everybody's like, well, I mean, we can keep making up FUD, but it's not going to matter. New York already said, whatever, it's fine. Pay your fine and move on. And so we saw it with EOS as well. If that happens for XRP, and the case specifically against Ripple Labs, all that gets cleared away. Suddenly that price suppression that has been going on since, I believe, November or December, early December, I think it was when it broke, somewhere around there. The price suppression that's kept XRP from reaching an all-time high will be totally gone. And then like a rubber band, everybody will be able to trade it and it'll pop right back up. The most bullish case for the end of the year, I think it's going to sound crazy. Are you ready for me to sound crazy? I think $30. I think that's the most possible bullish case.
Oh, $30. Now listen to him make the case, because he gives you some very, very solid things to think about here. He's not just grabbing an arbitrary number. And it's at this point, I want to remind you, Dark Defender, Coins Kids, what they all been talking about. Crypto Bull 2020, that regardless of this price rollover and consolidation we've been witnessing for the last several weeks, they've all been saying $20 to $30 range is where we're at for price. And now this gentleman here, Bitcoin guy, is saying it too. And watch him break it down here.
XRP by this year, $30. And that's really not that crazy of a number if you think about it. That's less than 10 times its previous all-time high in 2017. And if it were not suppressed, if it were to have seen a very similar thing to what Ethereum saw, to where this cycle it had already peaked out at about 3 times its all-time high, it would have already been at $9 and corrected down to $6 right now. In that case, $30 wouldn't sound, that out of the question. You got to understand, Ripple led 2017. It was the number one, most profitable coin across the board. People put in $100, made 6 figures at certain points during 2016, 2017. The excitement for Ripple is there. And once again, this is not a comment on how great I think Ripple is. I mean, XRP, it's not ever been something that I absolutely love, but I'm just looking at the common sense.
BitBoy, you were doing so well. You were doing so well. Let's keep listening.
Behind price suppression against something that's been through a lawsuit, and all of a sudden now all of those worries, all of those concerns, all those people that for years said XRP's they're going to prison. Brad Garlinghouse going to prison, Chris Larson going to prison, when Jed McCaleb's the one that really should be there, by the way, which is he was in charge of basically one of the biggest scandals of all time when he passed off Mt. Gox and got off scot-free on that, scot-free on the Ripple legislation, but whatever, that's a different subject.
We have talked about that. He is one slippery son of a gun.
When all of those dark clouds above the head are gone, then a lot of people are going to be thinking, oh, maybe I should invest in this. As the price rises, it's going to get excitement, it gets the media attention. When the IPO news breaks, just think about it. I think it's definitely possible. I think somewhere between $12 to $30 is definitely a good estimate for this year, as long as we're still in a bull cycle and we're not like fully in a bear market like some people think we are.
Well said. And I have to say, I've always made the joke too, if I'm ever at a party and Jed McCaleb is there and he leaves, oh, I'm leaving too. That's what I've learned. If you're with Jed McCaleb somewhere and he leaves, I'm leaving with him, because, this guy knows when to get out of a party, boy. I'm going to tell you that. Ain't no doubt about it. Look, that's going to do it for me. Shout out to BitBoy and the rest of the guys there on the panel. Look, he may not be a fan of the tech or be able to go very deep into understanding, what it is, but he gets it. He gets it enough to know that he can see what's building here, and he can smell that there's profit on the other side. Look, this isn't financial advice from me, him, or anyone else. But I tell you one thing, I do believe that we will see an upside, personally myself, after the case is resolved, whether that be a settlement today or whether it be tomorrow or a summary judgment or it goes all the way to trial. I think we will get through this. And when we do, I do believe that there will be absolutely a huge jump into using this asset, because we all know that one of the things that Ripple has been doing that separates itself from so many other projects out here is that from day one, they have been building the market infrastructure to make this possible, because none of this works unless you're able to build the infrastructure for all of it to run on. And when we look back in the earlier part of this video and realize whether it's the stock market, whether it's the oil pipeline, or whether it's the meat industry, or whether it's an IT company that services the globe, we are vulnerable. And the market infrastructure we currently have is absolutely antiquated. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and share with somebody you know. And I will catch all of you on the next one.